If a guy pulls up to a prostitute on the street and says, "Wow, you're so beautiful. Want to go on a date with me?" And then she says yes, and he goes, "Let's go out for dinner." And they go out for dinner. And then he was like, "You know what? I know it's soon, but why don't you be my girlfriend? You know, I always take care of my girlfriend. You know what? As my girlfriend, here's an allowance."
What's the difference between that?
Is that not prostitution?
It is. So is marriage. Marriage is prostitution.
What? How?
Definitely, 100%. He's paying her to sit there and have babies and cook for him.
It's a mutually
taking care of
beneficial
her.
relationship.
It's a
don't think marriage-
financially.
I
And alimony.
Emotionally, physically.
Alimony as soon as they get
women
divorced.
who are
it's
married
all-
live
but you're not
longer.
having sex anymore with
Men-
alimony.
Depends.
True. I would absolutely disagree. I think matrimony is beautiful. It was designed by God for a reason.
Supposed to be, but
both
it's
men
not
and women
anymore.
benefit from maybe what you've seen growing up, but from what I've seen, marriage is the most beautiful, rewarding thing. It provides you mental rewards. It provides physical rewards. You get to pass on your seed essentially and create new generations, which is God commanded us to create, be plentiful and multiply.
I mean,
All
you
of
have
these
been
things.
married before, right?
Me? No.
Okay, so I'm on my second marriage.
Okay.
I'm
Are you currently married now?
Yes, I am currently married now, and my marriage
Mazel
is
tov.
absolutely wonderful. It's the best marriage I've ever been in my life. It's only the second one, but it's great. And my husband is very supportive of my job, and because of that support, like.
But you're retired.
Your husband's fine with you having sex with other men?
No, but you
Absolutely.
said you were retired.
Like I do it for fun. Like I still do it for fun because I enjoy it, but I don't do it for monetary gain because I'm independently wealthy, so I don't have to.
How's that a marriage if your husband lets you have sex with other guys who pay you?
Because it is a social construct.
Because you
that
signed a
we
piece of paper? That's not
sign
what
a piece of
marriage is
paper.
supposed to be.
I married my best friend. What can I say?
But then you have sex with other people. That's not marriage is
Yeah, I don't thi-
monogamous
it's-
relationship. That
well,
might be a relationship, but that's
It's
not
a government
marriage.
contract. That's all it is. It's a
Yeah,
government
I
contract
I
between
think
two
that's the
people that
problem.
agreed to love each
That's
other.
the exact problem in society.
So here's my view is that that's not marriage. That's some social construct.
2023
using the name of it.
Bullshit. Yeah.
So
But if I'm happy, what matters?
I don't
That
care.
matters,
You know
but
what I
that's
mean?
not
Like,
marriage.
why
does it
Truth
matter to other
matters,
people
words
as well?
matter.
I
Like,
think
I'm treated well. He's a
Good.
good provider.
no, that's a fantastic.
know,
I got
yeah,
no
we're
issue with
both
that.
very happy.
I'm just saying that marriage meant something, and then one day they were like, "Oh, marriage also means other things, and this means other things," and it's like, "Oh no, hold on." Like, if the idea of marriage was effectively a death contract, right? Till death do us part, and no fault divorce, you couldn't get divorced. I mean, you could under certain circumstances, but judges would be like, marriage counseling, bang the gavel. That was marriage. Marriage is like a merger in two people's lives and assets. Now marriage is dating. You know, it's like you go in there and you're like, I'm going to sign this paper that says we're dating. It can be dissolved at any time for any
I mean,
reason.
there's no difference between my marriage and anybody else's other than the fact that I have, fun in my job.
Other
like, with
people's
my job.
marriages are monogamous, where when you agree to become one flesh
To me,
under...
it still is monogamous because I'm not out there falling in love with anybody. There is no emotional attachment
But
to
there's
anybody.
physical. Monogamy is both
Right.
physical and emotional.
But if I go over there and service somebody's,
Monogamy is committing to one
anything
person, but marriage, the whole concept of marriage is that when you become one flesh on the altar under God's eyes, whether you want to take the religious or even the government, when you agree to marry somebody,
No, I
you
mean, that's a
agree
big
to
difference.
be-
The religious and the government. That's a huge difference.
Yes, I
So-
know. I'm aware. That's
So
why I
it's
was
not
saying
both,
either one,
definitely.
whether you just sign a piece of paper or you believe that you're becoming one flesh under God's eyes for the rest of time, that becomes your soulmate. In Judaism especially, we believe that anyone can be your soulmate. You become a soulmate when you get married because your souls become one. And I just think that is incongruent with what marriage is. You cannot be open. That's an open marriage, which isn't marriage. Marriage is monogamy.
I just looked it up. This is really interesting. Monogamy is pure Greek, meaning single marriage. Single marriage.
Instead of polygamy.
So as opposed to polygamy, which is multiple.
Mormons.
Right,
But,
so I don't have any girlfriends
gamos,
or boyfriends or...
Manos and gamos means single and marriage. Gamos literally meaning marriage. By that Greek definition, you are monogamous. You are married to one person.
Yeah.
But you're just sexually open.
No. I am simply just doing a job that I enjoy.
Which allows
Simply
men
just
to
doing a
have
job that
sex
I
with
enjoy.
you.
So, yeah.
I think that
women.
marriage cannot, in
And
the
everything
biblical
else.
sense of marriage, matrimony, it cannot exist. The whole point of it is that you can be secure. You don't have to be afraid that, not even afraid, but it's that security, that ultimate security. I'm committing to you. I will never be with anyone else besides you for the
I
rest
don't
of my
feel
life.
insecure in my marriage, though, and he definitely does not. So, I mean...
But this is the thing. It's like...
It might work for you, but it's definitely not going to work for everyone.
Which is
I
okay.
feel like-
That's okay. I think that's the point.
I feel like you're describing marriage as, say, like a nice artisanal brie, and you're describing like American pasteurized processed cheese product.
Okay.
So I'm not saying this to be a dick.
I love both.
No, it's
I love
fine.
What I mean is, for the longest time, marriage was a death contract. Cheating was like you'd get in serious trouble for having a relationship in any
It's a good
capacity.
thing we don't have that anymore because that'd be
I
insane.
completely disagree.
Adultery
If
is a
you-
reason
if
for
two
divorce.
Death
consent-
penalty for cheating?
Death penalty. I never said death penalty.
I mean, like, you'd say people would get, like,
Very serious penalties,
Death
like
sentence,
you'd lose
like
your assets and things
social-
like that.
yeah.
You'd be shunned. If two people consensually agree to merge their lives, there are paths to dissolving that. But the idea that you can enter into this contract and leave at any time for any reason,
there's no leaving, though. I don't intend on leaving.
not you personally, I'm talking
Right.
about marriage was till death do us part. And then Ronald Reagan and who else? Was it like Jimmy Carter or something? One was no fault divorce. It was like the 50s it started to come about. All of a sudden it was just like, nah, marriage is dating now. And that's like,
If you don't like them anymore, you can just say goodbye.
it used to be a master craft to make a delicious cheese, and we call it cheese. And then one day some guy was like, I can emulsify cream
Something
and put salt
happened in
in
the
it.
70s.
So
So what?
is American cheese actually cheese? That's my point. It's like legally it's not, but people call it cheese anyway. I think, in my view, you're dating a guy. You're not married. But legally, you'd call it marriage. There's something we talked about. I can't remember which state. Maybe Alabama created covenant marriage. People mentioned because of the degeneration of marriage as an institution. They've created super marriage, which is effectively marriage as it's always been.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Right. But the
Ultra marriage.
the idea that you're like, you know what? I am married, even though I don't do anything related to the traditional responsibilities of marriage. That's why I'm like, the word doesn't mean what it meant. And now it's like, some guy driving a Bentley and someone else is driving, a rundown, rebuilt thing. And they're like, we have the same car. It's like, well, you don't.
Well, that's also in the situation where if they're getting abused verbally or mentally or physically or something, that they can't leave.
You can
That's not
leave
true.
for
I mean,
abuse.
that's not
you
true.
can totally divorce
Yeah.
somebody for abuse.
Like in
no
an
fault
ultra,
divorce.
that's
not
I
true.
don't like
That's
you.
not true.
You can always divorce somebody who's
no.
domestically violent.
Yeah, no fault divorce was like, you don't need a reason.
It's like Tim and I get married, and I'm like, Tim, you're not letting me get enough.
They do this. They go to
cats.
Vegas.
Gotta go.
Like the idea, like
Yeah.
they'll go to Vegas to get married. Celebrities have fake marriages for PR and then annul
Kim
it right away.
Kardashian's 72-hour marriage. Do you guys
70,
remember
yeah.
that?
That's not
Yeah,
marriage.
that's-
That
No.
was like a 3-night stand.
It was. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a
That's a
fling.
little ridiculous.
Yeah, but at
Barely
large,
that.
I think that this alludes to the negative feedback loop of men and women in society, where if women accept less from men, men will put less forward. It's the same thing with this idea of like courting women that doesn't really happen anymore. But men used to have to really try to win women over. They're like,
Right.
you're so beautiful, really make you want
Make a lot of
to
money.
provide for that. Yeah.
And listen, trust me,
doesn't happen
I
anymore.
definitely advocate for a lot of the things that you're saying. I think that women should be definitely more modest. I think that they definitely should be more God-fearing. I definitely think that they should be 100% loyal to their husbands. I think that they, everything that you're saying, I 100% agree. The only thing that I am concerned about are the less fortunate people that are not married, that are not dealing with the privileged life that we get to live right now, because we're pretty freaking privileged. I mean, it's pretty obvious. We all live like pretty good lives, but that's not everybody right now. So
I guess it
you know.
depends. Like, what do you mean by privileged?
I mean, privileged as in
Are you calling us
we're okay,
white?
we're happy, we're wealthy. I mean, I don't know about. I honestly don't know your financial situation, but we're doing all right, right? So I mean, not everybody is, and these are the people that we need to think about right now.
I guess the question there is,
Wait, I feel like
is privilege a reference to?
get off the ivory tower for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, we need to think like that kind of like
But
privilege.
it's like, in my instance, for example, like I had a relatively rough upbringing, not the worst, but on the lower end of the spectrum.
Right.
And I had to work really, really hard, and I was homeless several times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, there's
So is it? I don't know if I would consider
to
it.
where we are in our lives right now is what I'm saying. Like, not like how we got there. I'm sure that I have no idea how you got here in your life. I'm sure you have no idea how I got here in my life. I don't know how you got here in your life either. But right
like a
now,
plane
we're
here.
all doing pretty damn good.
But so I
So-
try to draw.
Is that privilege or hard work and reaping
Exactly.
the benefits?
Okay, hard work. That's okay. But we can rephrase
like
that.
the
Hard
distinction
work.
between some people who are in hard conditions but can't get out versus people who are born privileged, like they were
Right.
born with benefits and advantages and things like that.
Right.
But I certainly would agree that today,
like
we,
people
we are
without
all
two
in-
parents and
I feel extremely blessed. I thank God
Yeah.
every single day for all my blessings. But I feel like we rushed over a very important thing where you said you 100% agree with the idea that women should be loyal, 100% loyal to their husbands, but then you're not. So how does that work?
I still feel loyal, but I don't want I don't want or need everybody to follow my lifestyle. I'm not encouraging my lifestyle. My lifestyle works for me. I can't guarantee it for everybody else. So it's very niche. It's very like not usual. So I can confidently say that it works for me, but I cannot confidently say that it will work for literally anybody else. So